welcome to Back to the Drawing Board with Soti and Dan. My co-host Dan is with me. How are you, Dan?
Good, Sotland. Good. Excited and pretty damn nervous about the coming weekend.
Oh, you have to be nervous. It's a big weekend this weekend in sports and entertainment. I like that you're wearing LA represent. You know.
Wait, that I'm wearing it?
Look, it says LA on your thing, on your t-shirt, mate.
Oh, crap, I didn't even realize.
Oh, Boston fans aren't going to be happy about that, but don't worry about it.
I didn't even realize.
Welcome to... That looks like a Jeep.
How can I even... what do you think it is? Oh, whatever. But,
today we will be previewing the second round of the EPL. We're going to be going through some transfer news, and we're going to finish off the day the episode with tips and number of the round for last week, and who we think is going to be, an X factor this weekend, what our tips are, and what to look forward to.
Very, very exciting indeed. Just before I let you get started on that, I'm going to give a quick little shout out to a podcast that you guys should all check out, Mightier Than the Sword. It's currently being recorded by a dear friend of ours. It's basically focusing on superhero mentality. We discuss the issues, famous quotes from some of our favorite heroes, and also in the media. So be sure to check that out as well.
Great little podcast, taking like the famous quotes and inspirations of heroes of our time and into the real world and what it does it mean. And it's great for mental health and great for motivation and inspiration. And as men, we all struggle with that.
And more importantly, it's taking the world by storm.
Taking the world by storm.
Yeah. I heard he cracked 100 views. When was it? A week ago.
He's just started. Yeah. Been great work by good old Ryan at Mightier Than the Sword. So make sure to check that out, guys. And also don't forget, like, share, subscribe, hit the notification button, and make sure to share it with your family, your friends, your loved ones, your pets, your doctor, your vet's cousin, everybody. Just make sure your dog's on it, your cat's on it, the next door neighbor's on it, guys.
Basically anyone that you hate, okay? Just share it with them.
While you're watching the Prem tomorrow, make sure you're watching this, and don't forget to share it. All right, guys. So first off, we're going to start off with some big transfer news coming out of the Premier League. Dan, the man, we've got Thiago going to Liverpool, and good old Bale might bail out Tottenham. So what are your thoughts, mate? Thiago, 27 million to Liverpool, which is, I think it's a fair income deal. And then you've got Bale heading over to Tottenham for a measly 12, 13 mil, 20 mil or something like that after the loan.
Look, it's a pretty big. It's been a pretty big week. Been a pretty big couple of days as well. Thiago, pretty big move for Liverpool. Having said that, though, he's still going to be the second best Thiago in the Premier League behind Thiago Silva. But that's okay. That's okay. It's all right. I mean, it's a decent signing for Liverpool. Let's just see if we can get a game. Let's see if we can get a game. Yeah.
Let's see. That's correct. It's a big signing, I think. As a Liverpool fan, I was telling you before, I was a little bit nervous about the season. Obviously the Leeds game gave me a heart attack, even though it was one of the most exciting games. If only teams that have just come up from the second division could play the way Leeds play, more open football.
Sure.
I think the Premier League would be even at a different level if the bottom tier teams just played a better style of football and gave it a go. Because Leeds did, and it just showed that anything can happen if you actually try, versus sitting back and just defending and hoping you'll get, some lucky goal at the end. But I wanted something. Liverpool needed to do something, not because the other big teams have done transfers or anything. Obviously, Chelsea missed, a goddamn transfer window. So, of course, they're going to catch up on a million transfers. But just to solidify anyone that's won the league the next year after, you just got to strengthen the team. We saw Man City not do that, and it showed last year that they weren't able to handle a lot of it, going back to back to back. So Chelsea many years ago, 10, 15 years ago, they won the league. They went and got Michael Essien. Everyone's like, why would you get Michael Essien? Well, the rest is history. Just little things like that. But what are your thoughts on Thiago and Bale?
Look, all seriously, about Thiago, it's a huge move. They strengthen an area that was probably the only area they kind of needed to improve. I mean, a backup centre back would be nice as well, just in case for some security. But I think they've got world class players, probably top 5 players, in terms of their attackers. They've got Van Dijk, who's top 5 defender. They've also got a top 5 goalkeeper in the top 3, probably even the best. I guess they were just lacking that top 5 or even top 10, top 20 midfielder since Coutinho left. So I think that's going to be a huge boost for them as well. I mean,
good points. Definitely, I think we lacked a lot of creativity, especially against the bottom sides where we were just grinding our games. The only thing that I just have a little bit of doubt, he's somewhat injury prone, but I mean, I've seen him come to Liverpool and not be injury prone. So, just little things like that.
For 27 million, that's not even a gamble. I mean, that's just
you've got 3-4 years with him.
Yeah. What's that?
Henderson, Wijnaldum.
That guy from Aston Villa, Jack Grealish, whatever his name is, however you pronounce it. I mean, I heard something ridiculous, like they were asking 70+ million pounds for him. So if you value him at that, I guess because of like the homegrown rule, English players are valued higher. But
look at Chelsea signing Chilwell for 50 million, and people are like, "Oh, it's a big signing," but everyone's like, "Yeah, but you could get someone, you could get 3 or 4 players. It's just because he's homegrown." A lot of people thought, I don't know. What are your thoughts about Chilwell heading over to Chelsea?
Again, the price, absolutely ridiculous. Nowhere near worth that price. But considering it's from a rival Premier League team, they're always going to charge overs along with the homegrown rule. I get that. Chelsea also needed to shore up that defense, so there was some element of desperation behind it. But I think he's going to be good for him. It's just Frank Lampard defensively. We just need to see him tactically how he is, because he's gonna have better personnel now. Let's see what he's going to do about it.
Yeah, you're right, and I do agree with that. I just disagree with the moves that they make. Thiago Silva's 35, 36, and I get bringing someone in of champions mentality with Brazil in the Copa Americas, and also in, many years captain in, PSG. You've got Azpilicueta, who's a Premier League winner. You've got players there. The only problem is that keeper, like Kepa is just not as good as what Football Manager thought he was,
Anything but a Kepa. He's anything but a Kepa.
Yeah, he is. And
honestly,
that's our fun for the week. Absolutely right. And Chelsea have the ability to, like we said when we were mentioning our top 6, and I put United just ahead, but Chelsea do have the talent and quality. I told you that they needed to come out and really make a threat last week and make a name for themselves and come out, guns blazing, and they sort of did. 3-1. That's a good result. To only concede 1 goal, but they still conceded 1 goal. That's the problem, away from home, and you don't want to concede those goals. In saying that, though, good transfers by teams, but also the biggest news is Gareth Bale is coming back to the Premier League. For me, I think I have my own views about it, but I'd love to know your views, Dan, on Bale bailing out Tottenham.
Well, to our beloved listeners who tuned into the first episode last week, they would have had the inside scoop where I basically mentioned that I wouldn't be surprised if Jose Mourinho decided to pull him back to Tottenham. So
absolutely right.
I think, given where Spurs are at the moment, I think it's a really good move. I think it's a low risk move because it's only a loan. It's not, they haven't purchased him, they haven't gotten him. They may have an option to purchase him following the loan. Pretty low risk considering where they were at. They were in desperate need of something to spark that team, to give the fans something to actually look forward to, because
correct.
Yeah. They were underwhelming. They were underwhelming, underachieving considering the quality of that team. Jose Mourinho, the way they were playing under him was pretty dull and boring. Hopefully this will get the fans excited again. And I mean, he's 31. I mean, if Chelsea can get Thiago Silva to play centre back at 35, I'm pretty sure they'll get some pretty good games out of Gareth Bale as well. So I'm a fan of it. I think there's not much to lose. They didn't give up anything, so it's all right. What about you?
Much. For me, it's more, okay, where's he going to play and what's he doing there? You've got Bergwijn, you've got Lucas Moura, who took him to the Champions League final a couple of seasons ago. You got Son, you've got Harry Kane and Dele Alli. You've already got your front four players, right? You've got Kane up top, you've got Dele right behind him. You got Bergwijn, or not even. You got Son and Bergwijn, or Son and Lucas, or now you add Bale to the mix. So does it lift up competition? Yes, but then who do you take out of rotation, and then what happens with chemistry after that? That's what's more interesting to me. Like Liverpool bringing in the players they do. What's going to happen with Wijnaldum? There's talk of him going to Barcelona and us because of the Thiago, but then it's like, well. There's people saying, well, Wijnaldum and Thiago are probably going to be the two in the midfield, and then Chiarte. But now you're adding Bale, who falls asleep at games, into already. I don't know if you're watching the documentary, on Amazon Prime, All or Nothing. Even though we already know that it's nothing for Tottenham, but you're adding him to a group of players that are close, but are also soft, and I find him a bit soft also. He's injury prone. He's 31. I think you're right in the sense it's more like a publicity stunt for Jose Mourinho to bring in a favourite. I did it with Drogba, like you said, at Chelsea. He's done it with Zlatan Ibrahimovic to United, though Zlatan Ibrahimovic is a whole different animal. He's one of the top-tier players. Bale had never reached his potential at Real Madrid. It was constantly up and down, the whole Ronaldo thing and the Modric, and it's just little things like that I just go, okay.
I mean, it's a fair point. I get that. The only objection I have to it is the first part that you said. You're not sure how they're going to structure everyone in that side. Yeah. Granted, Tottenham, like some of those players, they had their own injury issues as well. I mean, Harry Kane hasn't gone through a whole season. He's always missed at least a couple of games. Sometimes he's missed like a quarter of the season.
Often goes away for about a month or two on injury.
I think,
bad.
I think Lucas, again, he's good. In terms of impact, he could potentially have more of an impact coming off the bench. As well. So either one of those, like, it's going to be a long season. You need to have interchangeable parts, and I think that's what Gareth Bale does.
Something. It just, for me, I just see it as, for chemistry, how does that look? That's just my point. I just see it in a perspective of, I mean, he does offer something. We could be completely wrong, and he could blitz this whole season. He's only 31. Steven Gerrard played till he's 35. Granted, he slipped a couple of times, but Zlatan Ibrahimovic played till 36. Ronaldo, Messi are still going stronger than ever. Like, obviously, some form has dipped for Ronaldo in the Serie A, but he's still one of the best players in the world, if not the best, and Messi. So I know Bale hasn't been able to reach that capacity, but he's a top tier. And I think, like you said, I think it's a good publicity stunt, though. It's a good
low risk, 31 years old. It's not like the Willian deal to Arsenal where it was a 3-year deal of $100,000 a week.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm a fan of it. We'll see. Considering how they performed on the weekend, they can't do much worse. Surely.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
And they lost to Everton last week, but we'll get into that a little bit more. Okay, guys, so before we head into the EPL preview for next week, make sure that you get yourself onto Mightier Than the Sword, the podcast for superhero mentality, where we discuss issues, ideas, and inspirations that we interpret from our favorite heroes from every media. So, guys, also don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and make sure you hit the notification button. Let us know what you think about the Thiago deal to Liverpool, the Chilwell deal to Chelsea the other way, and obviously Christian Bale. Gareth, Batman is going to Tottenham. And obviously Gareth Bale heading off to back home to Tottenham. My mate actually had a jar where he would put money in for Bale. It was the Bale Emergency Fund.
Well, more importantly, though, you mentioned about people letting us know about all those things, commenting and letting us know. More importantly, guys, let us know about the casting couch that Soti has in the background of his camera as well, okay? Let us know about that. That is in fact the actual couch.
The couch straight from the US. I won't name the site, but that there has
potential risk of a lawsuit. We won't mention any anything, but that's the couch. So which is available for sale as well, isn't it?
It is for sale, and it needs a good home.
Yeah. Let all your brothers know.
Yeah. That's a good one. All right, Dan, let's get into this week's round. Guys, you will see the fixture pop up. We have got Everton versus West Brom, Leeds versus Fulham. Obviously, Leeds had an exciting match last week with Liverpool. Fantastic run for Leeds there. Man United versus Crystal Palace, Manchester United's first game of the season. Good to see what happens there. Arsenal versus overrated Ham United.
Your boys.
Southampton versus Tottenham. Tottenham Bales. Newcastle versus Brighton. Chelsea versus Leeds, which is the biggest match of the round.
Leeds. Chelsea versus Liverpool.
Liverpool versus Chelsea, sorry. Biggest match of the round. My bad, guys. Burnley. Then we've got Aston Villa versus Sheffield United. Wolverhampton versus Manchester City in the first match for Manchester City. So, Dan, what are your thoughts on a few of those games? Start off with Everton, West Brom. Who you got?
I got Everton. I actually really enjoyed the way Everton played against Tottenham. They kind of went into it, obviously, underdogs against Tottenham.
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting them to click as well as they actually did. I thought it might have taken.
Surprisingly clicked really well. A lot of Everton fans think they're going to win the league, but anyway, whatever. We've said this. They're the scariest team out of that top six that we picked. We picked them sixth, and they beat the team that we thought is fifth. So, I mean, we might have to change our minds during the season, but Everton definitely a great start to the season.
Well, that's we said that they're going to take points off the teams above them, and that's exactly what they did starting from last week. Richarlison could have easily had a hat-trick if it was a little bit more accurate. Shows a lot of promise. Very quick as well. Promising debut from James Rodriguez as well, but I'm telling you, Ancelotti, huge coach, and with that team, I think obviously they're going to beat West Brom. West Brom didn't really show too much last week as well. I reckon 2-0 Everton.
Yeah, I think this is where Everton will be tested the most. Teams that park the bus. Ancelotti doesn't usually come up with a lot of teams that, park the bus. La Liga, Bundesliga, Serie A, look, the Serie A is defensive, but at the same time, it's a bit more open than what the Premier League is, where you got 20 men behind the ball. I've got Everton here, at least 3-0. But this is where it makes the difference. If they come out a draw, they come out and lose this game, it's going to be one of those seasons where they'll probably, win. Pardon me. They'll probably win, 19 games at home and lose 19 games away. It's one of those things where they can easily falter very quickly, only because just they need to gel a little bit. Gomez back, obviously that horrific injury that he had last year when he broke his leg, snapped it. To see him get those games up, young Portuguese talent. Obviously, James Rodriguez in there. They've got good players, and this is a scary team. That's kind of like, they're our Manchester United to Manchester City's United. You know what I mean? So they're that version where they've got young, talented players that are exciting, open and football, just like sort of United on the counter-attacks and stuff like that. But,
noisy neighbours or kind of quiet neighbours in that sense, yeah. Well,
the tenants that you just can't get out of the place you want to be in.
There you go. Yep.
Right, so moving on. We got your old faithful, Leeds United versus Fulham. This is going to be a good game.
Mate, I was very, very happy with how Leeds performed. Now, considering they came up against the champions at Anfield, there wasn't a crowd. I understand that, but they still were playing away. Awesome performance.
Best. Jasmine's in love with them. Jasmine loves them. Loves them. She loves Leeds United now. I think I would say someone she's always on her phone when we're watching the soccer, because it's like, watch Liverpool pass the ball for the whole game, right, till the last and be like, I'm going to play. This time round, she's like, I didn't even want to put my phone down. Like, I thought there was going to be a goal.
Yeah. I mean, it was a scintillating game. Now, considering how they played, awesome. They actually ended up having more possession than Liverpool as well. So the confidence to be able to dictate the play, pass it around, when you've got a team like Liverpool who press really well also, I think shows...
Well, really high, and they were trying to get it behind. They were going for those long balls. You saw Van Dijk get caught out, and he's been slipping a lot lately, which is... Which, look, at the end of the day, we all make mistakes. But he's been making mistakes that lead straight to a goal.
Well, I got a stat for you, actually. I dug this one up. I went through the archives, not too far back. But since the 18-19 season of the Premier League, no outfield player has cost the team more goals. His errors have not led to more goals than Virgil van Dijk.
No,
so who would have thought? That's absolute truth. Absolutely. So as good as he has been, he's still also prone to making some errors as it is. So who would have thought that?
LeBron James does some weird turnovers.
I mean, obviously the good far outweighs the bad, but no one's immune to it, especially being a defender as well.
Well, that's the thing. A lot of people were talking about Gomez or Van Dijk or Matip. But you just showed that a team like Leeds United, who press well, who have a fantastic coach, who have a fantastic system, fantastic support base, when you have all that and it's the first game of the season and you're trying to make your mark as the champions, Leeds United are going to make some noise this year. And that's why I think they'll probably win I don't know how well they did with Fulham last year. What I do know is that they can easily beat Fulham 2-3-0 if they're going to play the way they did against Liverpool.
Yeah. Well, the fact that they came out with the confidence that they did, I mean, look at the comparison between two of the newly promoted sides. So Leeds come out against Liverpool last week.
Yeah.
They earned everyone's respect. They played really well. The quality of 2 out of their 3 goals was really, really good. Look at Fulham, how they performed against Arsenal.
Opposite sides.
Yeah. Like they looked like a team that didn't believe they belonged there. Whereas Leeds were like, all right, we're here.
It's been like that for a few years, and we said it. Every time Fulham we said Fulham's the one that's going down straight away. We didn't even, cluster or a thought about that. An interesting fact, though, this is actually Leeds' first home game fixture since May 2004. So this is going to be big for Leeds. With Fulham, like you said, the way they played against Arsenal, you can't show up like that in the Premier League.
No.
You need to be able to show up and do something. Like, I really don't understand. I personally thought they were going to give Arsenal more trouble They didn't bring Mitrovic on until later on when things, were completely dead. They could have maybe done something by then. Scott Parker, obviously, everybody has a lot of respect for him, but it'll be I'm not a fan favorite of Fulham.
I think again, it goes back to the mentality of the players. They looked like they were intimidated playing against a side like Arsenal, whereas Leeds showed no fear against Liverpool, and it showed the way they played, and it showed in the result.
If Fulham have a chance to go 0-10 almost in the first 10 games, like they really do, with the fixtures that they've got coming up, they've got some hard games coming up. I wouldn't be surprised if, they'll be the first team to get rid of their coach.
They can't show up like that, like they did.
So
but having said that, scoreline. I'd probably say 1-0. Leeds off the back of their game against Liverpool, they're going to be weary in terms of conceding a lot more goals. So I think they're going to try and focus defensively. I think they're going to be switched on. Fulham, they'll probably be a little bit better, obviously, than Arsenal. You'd hope. I don't see them doing much in this game. How about you?
Head-to-head, Fulham have more wins against Leeds. 3 wins to 2. 2 wins at home and 1 away. Leeds have yet to win away at Fulham, but they won both their home games against Fulham.
How many of those in the Premier League?
This was 6 games played in the Premier League. This was back in 2004. So obviously the game last year in the championship. But next game over, we've got Manchester United versus Crystal Palace. This will be the first time Manchester United playing this season. It's the first time we're going to probably see Van den Beek if he is able to play. We're going to see Bruno Fernandes. We're going to see a full season of Manchester United. And I think this is going to be quite easy. Kickoff is at 2:30 a.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. This should be quite an easy, not quite an easy, but I think this will be a really good game. Crystal Palace won their game last week against Southampton. Man United have, out of the 22 times that they've played against each other, United have won 17 out of those 22 games. 4 draws, 9 wins at home for United, 8 away, and only 1 win away for Crystal Palace. And that last win was in 2019, last year, opening round.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, what's your scoreline? What are you predicting?
I think it'll be 2-1 to United. I don't see Crystal Palace winning. But at the same time, I do think if United lose this game or draw this game, the banter from all Arsenal supporters, Tottenham supporters, Scousers supporters, and Chelsea supporters, everybody's just going to be on their back. And I don't think I would not want to start the season with a draw or loss if I'm United.
Absolutely, but to be honest, I reckon they are going to be made fun of a fair bit. I don't see them losing. I see them potentially drawing this 1-1. Again, that defense I'm not really sure about. They obviously have the firepower in terms of attacking and a creative sense, but I don't know about them defensively. Yeah, I mean, with Maguire, is he even going to play after what happened in Mykonos? Is he still holidaying? Is he still in jail?
Is he still in jail?
I don't know. I'm hoping.
It looks like he will be playing and he will be lining up, but
I mean, United fans would probably want him left in jail, considering how he defended the back end of last season. That's my biggest issue with United. They'll score goals. I don't know about them defensively. Like Bruno Fernandes is going to come back and defend. Paul Pogba, obviously he has it in him, but is he going to be mentally switched on enough to actually try? So we'll see. That's why I reckon first game.
Goals last year both came after once on the 45th minute and then the 78th. So man, it's like they always go to Crystal Palace and win. But to be honest, I think it's one of those things where United. This is more important for United than Crystal Palace. It almost is, like a finals game for them because the hype has been so. It's pretty hyped at the moment for them. And, Van den Beek is a mass. We've got to mention Van den Beek transfer news. That's a massive signing. He's a great player. It's just
absolutely.
again, they need to mesh the midfield. Van den Beek, Bruno Fernandes, and Pogba, that's a deadly trio. And we spoke about it a little bit last week. But, yeah, I agree with you. This is going to be one of those games they just need to be able to come out and need to win. If they don't, can it dictate their future for the rest of the season?
Absolutely. All right, moving along to the next game, which includes your favourite team. We've got Arsenal coming up against the Hammers, the West Hammers. What do you reckon's happening there?
They lost 2-0 to Newcastle.
Right.
They won 3-0 in the EFL Cup during the week. I said this about West Ham. They are the most poorly run football club in the world. It's almost as if they're run by, a Sunday league team with, a president who only cares about the money and dishes out on the wrong players, just puts players together. It almost feels like there's something wrong there. But I've always said West Ham have been an overrated team. They did well, okay. Dimitri Payet wanted to get the F out of there. He realized, he knew straight away. He's like, what am I doing here? What am I doing here?
Those words himself.
Yeah, this club is a shit. Right? It's just, I'm not a big fan of West Ham. In saying that, though, West Ham are good at bouncing back. David Moyes is a good coach for a club that's West Ham's his level, and West Ham that's their level of coach. They tried the Pellegrini, an ex-Premier League manager who was, a champion in England, didn't go too well. Bilic was pretty good. He's doing okay, with the club with not really with West Brom, but he's at West Brom. Truth is, this team needs to be relegated. So I hope Arsenal win this game.
Look, it's pretty hard to defend this team, West Ham, off the back of last week, but I'm gonna do it anyway. So, but when you look at West Ham now, they lost 2-0 last week, right?
Yep.
Now, when you look at again the possession, the shots that they had, considering the fact that they also hit the woodwork twice during the game as well, that could have very easily gone in as well. You don't know. Granted, they do have work to do. I understand that. In terms of them being as pathetic as you see them, I don't know about the board and all that. I just know Katy Perry supports them, and that's enough for me. Okay. I think I don't see them get relegated. I told you that last week. I don't see them winning this game either. Obviously, Arsenal started really well last week, so yeah. I do see Arsenal winning this game, but I see West Ham showing more than they did last week.
They had 15 shots. Both of them had 15 shots. 3 shots to 2, but he'd win. It doesn't matter. You can have 23 shots, 30 shots every game.
But the post.
Because they're not clinical. But the post is there on purpose to miss. Right?
Yeah, but
you have to get it in between the sticks. This team can't even get it right in the board. That's where it matters most, because it trickles down to the players. This club is poorly run. They're overrated, just like the Los Angeles Clippers. Tottenham. We don't need something like that in sports.
Can I say something? Can I speak? May I?
Maybe.
May I? Look, not every team can get penalties handed to them every game. Not even just one penalty, but 2 penalties in one game, like Liverpool. I think, again, I see Arsenal winning 2-1 against West Ham because they've started off pretty well. But again, don't.
Look, it's not that I don't. I've got some players that I like in there, right? But at the same time,
name 26.
Name 26 players.
Yeah.
Ashley Young from back in the days. All right, yeah, I've got Arsenal there too. Moving on to Southampton versus Tottenham Bales. Well, I don't even want to talk about it much. Tottenham just need to show up. That's it. This usually is the season where Mourinho get things together, and he got pummeled against Everton. I want to ask you something. I made a video about this earlier on in the year about Jose Mourinho. Is he finished when he first came to Tottenham? He did okay to bring him back from, a 2-8 start to last year's season, got him into that 5th, 6th spot, playing Europa League and so forth. Is Jose Mourinho done?
Well, I think this is going to be a very good question and a very good debate in about 4 to 5 weeks' time. I think he's on his last legs, considering what happened in his last season at Chelsea, what happened at United as well, and what we saw in half a season that he had with Tottenham last year as well. So I think it's early to say, but I think we're going to find out if he's actually done in probably the next 4 or 5 weeks. Granted, if they don't do well in the first 10 games of the season, or if they're not up to scratch, I reckon they'll get rid of him. They will get rid of him. Teams aren't scared to get rid of high caliber managers anymore, and especially Jose Mourinho. If he wasn't good enough for Man United, why should he also stay at Tottenham? Kind of thing. So I think the jury's still out, but I think it's close. It's not looking good for him. Last week was awful. I mean, he's got Bale. He's had time to get players that he wants. He's already got a pretty good team.
Yeah, we've got Berg and Doherty, so
yeah, I think in about 4 to 5 weeks' time we should actually revisit this in depth and go over everything, because by then we'll probably have an idea. But as it stands at the moment, I want to give him the benefit of the doubt. So not yet, but clock's ticking.
Well,
what do you reckon?
Both teams lost their opening games. I see this as a draw. Reason being, last time they met, Southampton won 1-0 on the new year. That was away. Tottenham are playing away again. It just all depends on what happens next. This year, there's a couple of teams that these 10 games are so crucial. And I'll put Liverpool as one of them, City as one of them, because of how, Liverpool were undefeated in the first 10 games of the season. You have those two teams, Liverpool and City, because they, Liverpool were the champions, and obviously City being City, they have to perform in the first 10 games. But that is more on the front of, are they going to be the 2 top-tier teams, right? So that's a different sort of spectrum of first 10 games. Then you've got the teams just under that are hype. The United, the Chelsea. You can even throw in, Everton in there, right? But then you've got teams like, and I'm putting this, the West Hams, the Aston Villas, the Tottenhams. You've also got, I would say, Leeds will be a hype team also. You've also got probably Leicester in there also, where the first 10 games of the season are almost make or break for their club and will dictate how their club will be run after those 10 games. And I think you're right. If he doesn't get his, I personally think it's his positional awareness of how the new style of game is played. I think look, don't get me wrong, he has developed, because I've been able to watch him in his documentary. I don't know if that is because of, the cameras are on and he wants to show that he has, improved or anything like that. He does want to press high. He wants to get teams in certain positions. There's just something wrong with Tottenham. He mentions it so many times. They're good guys, but they're not assholes. They're not bastards. They don't go out there and fight as much as, the other teams do. And I think when you get Bale, fantastic. But, he did kind of perform at United. He won him a Europa League and got fired. So in the documentary, David Levy constantly says, we just want a title. So for them, I think they might even keep him. And they probably are going to keep him so he can go after the Europa League. So at least they can get a title because they've spent $140 million and $1 billion on these massive projects. I think it's a bit bigger, but I think, in about 4 or 5 weeks, we'll know more about Tottenham. But I'll give it until Bale starts playing and seeing how all that works. And then the debate would be, well, what's next for Jose Mourinho? So I've got a 1-1 draw here.
1-1? All right. I don't remember if I mentioned mine. Did I? I don't think I did. Did I?
I don't think you did.
In any case, I reckon Tottenham 2-1. Only because they have to. They have to really come out and show something. So
they lost. You don't want to go down 2-0 and 2 in the first. Then you've got Newcastle and Brighton. Not too much to talk about there. I will go Newcastle 2-0 again.
I'll agree with that.
I'm going to go through the other games, and I'm going to leave one of the games last to talk about Chelsea versus Liverpool, which we'll talk about a little bit later. We've got Leicester versus Burnley, which is going to be quite an exciting game. I want to say Burnley.
Really?
1-0. Them parking the bus. Brendan Rodgers struggles against teams that play park the bus. He struggles against teams that are as open because he likes to play more on the counter also. I don't know. I say Burnley 1-0.
Okay. No, that's a fair point. I mean, you would have seen Brendan Rodgers firsthand at Liverpool and see how he struggled against.
Opening game against West Brom 3-0.
Yeah.
Granted, but Burnley
3 goals in the second half as well. Yeah.
3 goals in the second half. Granted, though, Burnley's a much stronger team.
I still got Leicester winning this. I've got them winning 1-0. It will be hard for them to break Burnley down. I get that. I think it might come either from a corner or a corner leading to, or a penalty resulting from a corner. Something's dubious like that. It's going to be tough to break down, but I think I still see Leicester winning this 1-0.
Burnley are those teams you want to stay in the Premier League just because they're pains in the butt. You know what I mean?
They're the Stoke of cold, wet night in Stoke.
Yeah, is it? Can you do it on a rainy night at?
Yeah, that's it.
You got Aston Villa versus Sheffield United. I think Sheffield United will win that game.
Yeah,
Villa.
I disagree.
And then you've got the opening game for Manchester City, which I think will be the second match of the round, other than Liverpool versus Chelsea, which will be exciting. Obviously, Wolves have gotten the better hand of City last year. This game is massive for City. I think it will be a 1-0 win to Wolves.
Wolves.
Yeah, I think Wolves will win 1-0.
Hey, do you have your beanie on too tight or something? 1-0. You don't see Man City scoring.
No. I don't see it happening for them. I think the woes are going to get even woery for them. And that's the honest truth. I think it's going to be a bit of a struggle for them.
Just give me a sec. I'm just looking up the word woery over here. I'm actually the complete opposite. I think big game for Man City, first game of the new season. They gotta come out and flex their muscles a little bit and show they're gonna take this season seriously. I got them winning this 3-0. 3-0 Man City. Yeah. Now Wolves.
They gave up 3 goals last time this team matched. The last time they beat Wolves was 14th of May in January 2019, which is a season and a half ago. It wasn't even part of last season.
Yeah. No.
The last 2 meetings, they've lost. And they've given, mind you, they lost 2-0 at home on the 6th of October.
All the more reason to actually G up over this match.
This is their biggest rival.
The biggest rival.
They really hate Wolves. Like it's almost like a little rivalry that these two teams have with one another.
They must match up well against the Wolves. I think the reason why I have Man City beating them is
it's a statement.
Yeah, they need to make a statement. Yeah, Liverpool scored.
It's going to really worry.
Normally, I mean, there were parts during last season where they kind of went tit for tat with Liverpool. I mean, Liverpool would score 4, Man City would come out and score 4 or 5.
And Liverpool won the league by 18 points.
I mean, that's the case, but in terms of flexing their firepower and scoring, they just didn't have that consistency that Liverpool did. But that's why I think I'm going out on a bit of a limb, but I'm seeing 3-0, 3 goals.
All right. And then we said we're going to talk about the match of the round. God. Chelsea versus Liverpool.
Good God.
Chelsea need to flex their muscles because that's all they're good for. They need to flex against the champions. We've had some thrillers. Liverpool have won 3 straight against Chelsea in the Prem so far. 2 last year. Trent Alexander-Arnold has scored twice against Chelsea from free kicks. But I'll be honest, as much as I like a flex, and I think I'm the most handsome man in the world, and I think Liverpool are the best club in the world.
Overrated.
I think the most overrated team, just like the Los Angeles Clippers, Chelsea and Liverpool, I think will draw this at 2 apiece.
2 apiece. Okay.
And my reasoning for that is my numbnut of the round award goes to Virgil van Dijk because he can't stop blundering in the back. You can't be a world-class centre-back. Like you said, you brought up the archives.
Anchovies.
Yeah. Anchovies. His positional awareness, his positioning and his body language when he's like, everybody knows he's been so comfortable giving the ball to Alisson. Timo Werner, he said last week he hasn't played against big defenders, but now he's going to be playing up against a big defender and a very quick defense, right?
Yeah.
So, but also he's not going to be playing against a team that's going to, draw back so much. Liverpool are going to be up, and he's used to that. So that's why I think it'll be 2-2 because we're playing at the Bridge. We've won a few times there over the years, but at the same time, I said this at the start, I'm a bit iffy about Liverpool at the moment. I don't know why. I don't know if it's that game where everyone's like, oh my God, it's amazing. But I saw some things that Liverpool did there that I felt they were a little bit off their mark. And I think the reason they got the job done, not because of the penalty, because at the end of the day, Rodrigo stuck his leg out. It was a penalty. It was just a stupid mistake at a pivotal time. I just think there's something going on in the back there at Liverpool. Because I don't know if they're bored, but Chelsea will undo them. At the same time, this will prove whether Lampard has got it tactically there or not.
Now,
3 last time, don't forget.
We've spoken about Liverpool a fair bit in today's episode, and again, understandable considering you love them, and they won the league, and they're a top team. I understand that, but now is my time to discuss Chelsea from my perspective. Okay, No, it's not what you expect though. It's not what you expect. I'm not a one-eyed supporter like some Liverpool fans that I do podcasts with. But anyway, I digress.
No, hey,
With
I said Liverpool. Give me that. I said I don't know about them this year. Like,
yeah, no,
after watching the first game, I was like, all right, yeah, we're going to win the league. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, we got Thiago sick, but
no, I get you. Nah, you're right. You're right.
first episode, I wouldn't be surprised if we end up fourth.
Yeah, yeah. No, all right. I'll give you that. But anyway, specifically with Chelsea. Now, Chelsea are basically at the moment the way they're structured, the way this team is created, is basically someone that goes to the gym and only trains upper body, and neglects legs altogether. So that's basically them. Now, if the upper body was their attacking caliber players,
Yeah.
basically the front
Well,
half,
that's all.
huge, huge. Kante's their chest, huge. My God,
Yeah.
pecs, massive. In terms of like their arms, they've got Timo Werner, they've got Havertz, which they signed as well. Jorginho, I don't mind. He's all right. Pulisic, I like. Attacking wise, I'm not that worried about them. Defensively is the issue with Chelsea. And again, that's
Well, that's why
their
they spent 50 million quid on Chilwell, and that's what it's there for because he's homegrown. He's a decent
that's
player, but I don't know. A lot of people are like, a lot of Leicester supporters think that they got the better end of the deal.
with £50 million, it's hard to argue that, absolutely.
They got
But that's Chelsea's
Maguire, and that is what it is.
yeah. That's Chelsea's legs along with their goalkeeper. That's their biggest flaw at the moment. Now, off the back of last week against Brighton, that score again, it's it was
perspective on it. Hence why I'm going a 2-2 draw. Because defensively, both.
Take care. Ciao.